Good morning to you all. I'm your co-host, Madam Zen, and you're watching the weekly morning show. Muslim athletes continue to train during the holy month of Ramadan. But each year, the debate on whether fasting affects athletes or not arises in the world of sports. Some football players or some football coaches, for example, forbid Muslim players to participate in competitions if they are fasting, thus restrict them from exercising their convictions and beliefs. Dr. Khalid Yassin, clinician in physiotherapy and researcher, is joining us from the UK via video conference to discuss athletes' performance during the month of Ramadan. Good morning, Dr. Khalid Yassin. Thank you for accepting our invite.
Good morning, and thank you for having me in your show.
Good morning. Without further ado, Dr. Khalid, should athletes hold training and competing during the month of Ramadan?
The simple answer is no. There is no scientific evidence that should suggest that athletes should stop training or stop competing in competitions during Ramadan because of fasting. In fact, if they can keep their normal level of nutrition in during the iftar window from sunset to sunrise, and keep a healthy level of hydration and normal sleep cycles, then there should be no reason for them to stop competing or playing in different sports.
Mm-hmm. All right. Football player Karim Benzema netted 3 goals recently in 7 minutes, a record time for the athlete, while he was fasting. Can we consider this as a proof that fasting actually boosts athletes' performance? And can we generalize this on the rest of the athletes, Dr. Yassin?
I can't say definitely that it's enough proof for that, but we have a lot of signs that lots of athletes, especially Muslim athletes, are performing very well during Ramadan, and that could be traced to different angles. But from the scientific point of view, and I like to talk about facts, I can't say that 100% it means good boost for their performance, but at least I can say that during Ramadan, Muslim players show that they have great mental strength and mental clarity. And that could be due to the training they get from fasting itself, because if they are, I can say, they resist their desires during the fasting time, this is good mental training. They get the mental strength, and all people involved in sports know that the focus now is growing and towards the mental ability of the players more than their physical ability. And also, as you know, that Muslims during this month practice lots of night prayers and reading Quran, and these factors considered as a sort of meditation. And you can see that lots of players, Muslim and non-Muslims, are focusing on meditation during athletic competition, and this has proven to be having a good impact on their performance and mental clarity during intense competitions where they play under high pressure.
Mm-hmm. We've seen many football players like Mohamed Salah, Karim Benzema, as I have just mentioned, fasting during the month of Ramadan and still performing brilliantly. Is it the case for other sports, especially the ones that require high intensity training loads? And does it also impact athletes differently, Dr. Yassin?
Yes, I think I can't think of any reason that prevent footballers or sportsmen to perform well during fasting. I can't say for sure that it's the same for all the sports, but I can't think of any reason for them to not perform well. And we have examples from different sports, like, for example, we know that the American basketball player, Kyrie Irving, is performing brilliantly in the NBA in the highest competition, and he scored a really high score, over 30 points in one match while he was fasting the whole match, and only he broke his fast by the end of the match, eating just banana and drinking some water. But the evidence is everywhere from different sports. And especially here in England, in the Premier League, we see more than 50 to 60 players presenting and performing in the highest level of competition in the Premier League, presenting more than 19 clubs out of 20 clubs playing in the Premier League. All the Muslim players, most of them are fasting during Ramadan. And in fact, no one is complaining about performance or lack of ability to perform in the highest level. So the evidence is everywhere. It's all matter of how the person himself deal with fasting and how he doing his training daily and his nutrition.
Talking about how the athletes deal with with fasting, what is the optimal time for training and for competition for athletes in different sports during daytime and nighttime in this holy month?
Well, in general, to answer this question, I have to talk to three different parts. First is the amount of nutrition and hydration that all Muslims or all Muslim athletes should maintain during Ramadan and the same level before Ramadan. So they have to take their normal level of protein and carbohydrates and other minerals. They should not change the amount of nutrition they take. Also, a very good, important point is hydration. They should drink a lot of water, and they should do it like in different between sunset to sunrise. They have it in different parts, like every 2 hours or 3 hours they have a separate meal. And the second part is, as you said, the training itself. Training should not change in intensity or in quality during Ramadan or before Ramadan. Athletes are safely can perform their normal level of training in the in any time during the day during if they're fasting.
So there is no.
We know that the match day you cannot control when is the match, but maybe the training itself can be changed. So if the player wants to do the training closer to the iftar time, so they can immediately after they finish their training, they take their nutritional needs. And the last and important point is some people neglect this part, but it's very important that they have enough sleep and you have the healthy sleep cycles. We know that the muscle growth and the metabolic process in the body needs enough sleep. So if the players sometimes, during Ramadan, people sometimes they mess up their sleeping patterns, and this will affect athletic performance for sure. So it's very important for athletes to maintain a healthy sleeping cycles so they can maintain the health and the muscle ability during highest performance.
All right, so that was it for eating and hydration strategies, as well as the timing for training and competition. To wrap up, Dr. Yassin, how to support Muslim athletes during the month of Ramadan around the world?
Can you say the question again? I'm sorry.
Can you listen? To wrap up, as the last question, what is or how to support Muslim athletes around the world during this month?
I think that the organizations should take in consideration the needs for Muslim athletes. We know that amount of Muslim players are growing fast in multiple highest level of competitions, and I think organizations like the people responsible for the Premier League or the European competitions should consider that there's a lot of Muslim players competing in their competitions, and we've seen some signs, like in the Premier League, some referees will stop the match during the iftar time. They give like 2 or 3 minutes break for the Muslim player to get hydrated, to drink some water, to get some energy drinks. But I think we need more action, and I think Muslim community should raise their voices and ask for more flexibility, even in scheduling matches. Maybe teams that have lots of Muslim players cannot play later in the day during the iftar time, so the players can have enough nutrition before the match.
All right, a lot needs to be done in support of Muslim athletes around the world. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Yassin Khalid, and thank you too for watching us up until here. The show continues after the break.
Thank you.